Hello guys, welcome to episode numero 3 of the Budget Easy Reef Tank series. Today we're going to my favorite local fish store, New York Reef Aquatic, to see if we could find a really cool fish for the newest setup. But first, let's feed these guys because it's breakfast time. Okay, before we get going to the fish store, I want to go over tips on how to pick the best fish for your tank. The best thing that you could do to achieve a really good shopping experience is to do research before you go to the fish store. At least you have an idea of the different options that you have. One of the fish that I love the most for a really small tank like this one, especially a tank that you want to kind of leave alone and not really have much interaction with, is this guy right here. This is a Tailspot Blenny. This guy has a very amazing personality. They're very interactive, especially if you have him in a tank where there's no other fish to like bother them because they are kind of shy. The best thing about this guy is that he actually eats a lot of algae. So all the time that you're not feeding him, if your tank is growing a little bit of algae, he's gonna be having a blast. You can also feed him frozen food and other types of pellets, but mostly it eats algae. So this is a good addition to your tank because it's not only gonna be looking great and acting amazing, he's also gonna be cleaning your tank. He's gonna be like a really cool little employee, you know. For more and better advice on what fish to pick for a nano tank, you could visit Mad Hatter's Reef on YouTube. So if this is your first time going to the fish store, you could kind of just go look around, but I think that if you don't come prepared, you're gonna end up making an impulsive buy, and this is gonna lead you to problems later on, or just completely fail when it comes to your fish. So now you know what kind of fish you want. There's a couple things that you have to look at before you buy this fish. So first, make sure there's no white spots on the fish. White spots on the body are gonna indicate either ick, velvet, or other parasites that are on the skin. So just avoid it. If you see white spots on the fish, skip it. The other thing is cloudy eyes. Cloudy eyes are basically another indicator of bad health. And yeah, cloudy eyes or like swelled up eye, definitely stay away from. Another thing that you need to pay attention to is the activity levels. So different fish have different behaviors, but for the most of it, they should be active. So if you already made your mind up and you saw no white spots on this fish and you already did your research and all of that stuff, and you know that you want to take that fish, the last step is to ask the owner to feed the fish so that you could see him just eat. You know, they should go crazy when the food goes in there. If it doesn't go crazy while the food is in there, don't buy the fish. This is a really good indicator of poor health. It can also mean that the fish is just not used to eating synthetic food or like not natural food because it just came from a reef. Either way, if it's not eating, if it's not eating at the store, it's probably not gonna eat in your tank. You know, you could go back and buy it once it already got used to eating. The best thing that you could do for your reef tank is to not make impulsive purchases. If you already have one fish in your tank and you are looking to get another one, you have to be very careful and really make sure that you checked all of the things that I just spoke about, because all these diseases are really easily transmitted from one fish to another. So just avoid all these fish when they have these you know, unless you have a quarantine system. And if you don't have a quarantine system, then watch my first video. To me, having my fish getting sick, I really feel guilty. Not only because some of the fish that I have are expensive, but like they do have different personalities and you grow attached to them, and they also grow attached to you, even if it's just for the food or whatever. If you don't have a quarantine system, start one. Is super simple. You don't have to have a light on, which is the most expensive part of the system anyway. So just go ahead and start doing it. So unfortunately, we couldn't find a fish for the 10 gallon. The reason why we get another fish is because the one that was in the 10 gallon originally is one of the fish that was in this tank before, but they were all in quarantine, and like he was the last one in there, and he's completely healthy, so I just put him back in there because he's really good friends with my clownfish, and like they swim together and stuff, and they're just buddies. So like I wanted to have them together, and so yeah, that's why we went to get another one. But we couldn't find one because like when my girlfriend wants to get a fish, she has to like really look at the fish and like make eye contact, and then she does like a little dance and stuff, and like she like I don't know, you know, like she does her thing, and like if the fish doesn't go with it, she doesn't buy it. So this time we didn't find one that that she wanted to take home, so we didn't bring one. But we did find a fish that I really love, and I've been wanting to buy for a long time. It is the sunburst anthias, and this fish is super cool. This fish usually sells for $100, but it's definitely not a easy to keep fish, so like do not buy one of these fish for your tank. This fish is only gonna be here temporarily until I know that it's completely 100% healthy, and then it's going right in there. So the corals that we're gonna be using for this tank are gonna be the most basic type of corals that you can have, because this is the one that's supposed to be taking care of this tank, and I know for a fact that she's not gonna be doing water changes or testing or whatever it is. So this coral is a very good selection for this easy reef tank series. Another type of coral that we're gonna be adding to this tank is gonna be a bounce mushroom. You could get whatever type of mushroom that you want. The selection of these mushrooms is endless. There's so many of them. You know, in this case, we're gonna be adding this one. It's called the Superman mushroom. This is a WWC biohazard mushroom. That's pretty freaking cool. Wait, quick tip. When it comes to buying your coral, when you're at the fish store and you're picking your zoas or your mushrooms, do not buy the ones that come in a rock. It's called like I don't know what it's called, but basically a rock with a bunch of coral in it. Don't buy those, okay? Because zoanthids are one of the most prone coral to get to carry hitchhikers and pests that you don't want. So definitely stay away from that. Get the ones that come in a little plug, like single heads of coral, because that's a lot less likely to have any pest in it. And if they do have pests, then dip your coral in some coral dip before you put it in your tank, because it's gonna kill most of the parasites, and you're gonna save yourself a big headache later on. In my opinion, all coral are beautiful. I appreciate a lot more to look at a cheap coral or a lot more common coral that's super healthy than a really expensive one that's doing poorly. So okay, yeah. Guys, so it's been 3 days since we added the fish. He's doing really well. He eats like a pig, so it's kind of like a, you know, it's kind of like a concern. So what I did is that I went ahead and I added a protein skimmer into that 10-gallon, because this fish eats a lot, and if you don't feed the fish enough, like this type of fish enough, they will not do good for a long time. So for the meantime, while this fish lives in that tank, in this like little small tank right here, in the meantime, we're gonna have that protein skimmer, and then once he goes, I'm gonna take that protein skimmer up. What's gonna happen here is that I'm gonna let Liz pick whatever coral she wants from the system, so that to put in that 10-gallon, because basically by now she should know which coral is like suitable, you know, to put in that tank. So if she kills some coral, it's gonna be on her, but it's gonna only prove that I'm a bad teacher, I guess. So we'll see, you know, hopefully she makes the right choices. So yeah, this is what it looks like now. The lighting schedule for this tank now changed a little bit. What we did now is that we brought up the blues, like the first 4 blue channels on this AA prime. We brought them up to 60%. I brought up the green and the red and the white to 5%. So now there's a lot more light into it. You could actually see it. It's a lot more lit. And guys, this coral are fire. All right, guys, thank you for watching. This is the end of the episode, of the 3rd episode. It's been 3 weeks since we started building this tank, and basically I've been loving the whole process of this, from setting up the tank to actually like filming myself and editing these videos. So please, if you like the video, subscribe. If you have any questions or suggestions, just leave them in the comments, and I'll see you in the next week. Keep on running and running my mouth, and then like before I notice, I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore.